Welcome back to part 12, the final episode of the Blue Jean Dream tutorial by the Gilded Monocle. In this tutorial, we're going to finish up everything that we have to do on the piece, and we'll show you some pictures at the end of how it all turned out. What I'm doing now is just finishing the rivets, moving the eyelets, whatever you want to call them, moving the chain through the copper tubing and going ahead and reattaching everything there, putting the beads on the lower side of the chain, that way when they hang, they won't droop in kind of a funny way. So as long as it's weighted properly, you can do it any way you want. So just go ahead and finish up and connect your loops here. And just reattach, whether you use pliers, your fingers, whatever's easiest for you. And go ahead and reattach the chains as you might have had to pull them off for the different pieces. Now I am going to go ahead and have this one draping over the top just to see how it looks and how the weight is. And I think on this side it'll be fine. It'll keep the balance of the piece and it'll still look really good. So we'll just go ahead and finish that off, and then we'll pull the chain through the eyelet there and then reattach all of our pieces. Just make sure that you close all your links really well so that none of them pull free in case somebody snags the jewelry on their clothing or hair. You wouldn't want it to break just because of that. So always make sure that your links and your loops are really closed. And just remember, to get as individual as you like with the piece. You can add more embellishments on it if you want to put buttons on the blue jean, whatever you want to do, whatever you think is best. So just go ahead and drape the chain through the eyelet and then back through your large loop on the end. And then you'll reattach it at the top here. And just make sure that you have everything hanging the right way so the tiers at the bottom stay toward the bottom and the ones at the top are more toward the top, especially the ones you don't want them to have to be twisted. You'll see that in some necklaces where you have to actually twist them in order to have them set right, and you don't want that. You don't want your client having to constantly trying to figure out how does this lay or how does this work. So make sure that you think about that when you put the different links in. And then go ahead and close the large jump ring really well. Make sure I have a really snug fit on that one. And then just kind of arrange the piece as you move around, and just go ahead and check your chains, make sure everything is laying right, make sure that all of the links are closed. And then you'll just want to go ahead and pick the type of clasp you want. On this particular piece, I'm using what's called a toggle clasp, which is where you usually have a large bar and a loop, or in some instances it'll be a heart, which is what I chose for this one. You just want to grab jump rings to go on the end of the chain. It's not a good idea usually to attach your toggle clasps directly to the chain. You can if you have a heavy duty chain, but I highly suggest that you use jump rings. It gives you a more secure hold, and it'll keep the clasps from breaking, because toggle clasps are pretty heavy duty as is, and sometimes the chain links may not be. So it just tends to work better if you use the jump ring, to the chain, etc. So, and just go ahead, and I'm just going to use this little delicate heart toggle, which I think is really cute. So you just find the ends that you want the necklace to be placed on, and you just add your jump rings. And again, go through it, make sure that you have it right. In this case I didn't, so I'm going to probably either twist it or go ahead and remove it and put it on the upper tier there. I mean, it's easy to get confused because you've got several layers of chain moving around, so don't feel bad if you have to open up this larger jump ring several times and move things about, because that's normal. It's completely fine. So as you can see, we want this one at the top. So, and then we want this other one that's going actually through the blue jeans, kind of in the middle, and then we want the last here with the pendant on it toward the bottom. So just go ahead and do that, and then if you need to, you may not need to, you may have been more organized than I am, but just go ahead and make sure that that's really secure, and then go ahead and put on your toggle clasp. And I'm going to actually affix the jump ring first, and then the bar. So I'll go ahead and put the bar on this jump ring and close that. And then you can do the heart on the other end. And so make sure you use your pliers. I'm using a smaller jump ring here, so. That I already had placed, but you know, you can add any size you want. Some people prefer the larger ones. I usually use the smaller ones for the toggle clasps and such. And you know, if you want, you can add it directly to the chain. It doesn't always provide the most secure fit, but you know, if you feel more comfortable with that, you can try that as well. And they have really small jump rings too, just to sort of for this purpose of attaching like the toggle clasps or different types of clasps. Spring clasps you can almost always, or the lobster clasps even, you can usually attach directly to chain because they're very small and they're kind of delicate. For a lot of my steampunk stuff, I prefer toggle clasps. That's just my preference. You don't have to have them. You can get a spring clasp, which is the typical rounded clasp with a little lever that opens it up, or the lobster clasp, which looks kind of like a lobster claw. I mean, either one, any of those will work. And you know, as you work with it, make sure that everything's hanging in the direction you want. Just test it out, put it on a mannequin, try it on yourself. Just make sure the necklace is balanced and looks the way you want, especially when wearing it, because you can, you know, create a necklace on a board and it looks fantastic, and you put it on and it doesn't look good at all. So make sure you are constantly trying the piece on, you know, to see how it looks, to see how the colors are, to see if they look well. Look in the mirror, you know, make sure that you like what you're creating. So that's important, because if you like it, then your clients and fans or whoever else, they'll love it. So just go ahead and finish the clasp off here. And then we'll show you the end result. We'll also have some stills as well that we've composited in the end of the video too, so stay tuned for that. So there won't be any audio with it, but you can at least see how the necklace looks. And we really appreciate you subscribing and sticking it out till the end to watch the entire series, and hopefully you learned something. And we'd love to get any of your own ideas and pictures of stuff that you've created as well. Feel free to email them to us. You can find us at info@sasiva.com, or you can find us on Facebook at the Gilded Monocle as well. And so here we go. This is the end result. And again, thanks for watching, and we appreciate your subscriptions, and stay tuned for some still images as well.